G'day boys, welcome back to Agnos, the new Pokemon region of the generation we've been having a go at. Last video, I presented you with this generation's quote-unquote starter Pokemon, the first of the decks. But now I'd like to take you straight to the end. I'd like to tell you tales of powerful Pokemon and legends from the early stages. I'm talking about our legendaries. For those of you who forgot, Agnos is a region of the Pokemon world based off of ancient Greece. It is crawling with wild Pokemon and cruel people that would like to see your head knocked off your shoulders. A place and time far more treacherous than any other. So whatever these legendaries may be, surely they fit the themes of the region, the gimmick of the generation, the lore. Well, at least more than any run-of-the-mill Pokemon. The box legendaries in particular gotta be doing something new and have some significance to everything. Even if they're out in the middle of fucking whoop whoop, they should possess a vital role in the grand scheme of things. Now I should probably get on top of running you through the basic gist. You see all these crappy shows and stories in which the ultimate power, that is friendship, can overcome any obstacle.
Guys, come on, we need to help Zero too! We can get through to them with the power of friendship.
Friendship? These robots run on doggy style!
Well, maybe they're right. The thing with these games is that they are harder in difficulty and can weigh very heavy on your heart. These titles allow you to interact with your Pokemon and grow a bond that could potentially live on forever, possibly persisting even after you bite the dust. Because yes, death is also present for both people and Pokemon. You will grow close to your companions, and you will wallow when you fucking put them into the ground. But more about that later down the track. Now, many people believe that once you pass on, you transcend to some other plane of existence. According to the games that I have designed, this is true in the world of Pokemon. And well, you gotta have something governing these recently lost souls. This is where the idea for my legendaries came from. But first off boys, do us a favor by checking that you're subscribed and hey, chuck us a like whilst you're there. It is much appreciated. Cheers.
Entry number LXIX. Professor Hawthorne has given me access to all of his research material. It appears that he's grown too ill to continue his work. I don't want to let him down. I owe him so much, and his life depends on this research. Only thing is, I don't see the relevance of these notes. They're just old stories. Superstitious nonsense. They denote the tellings of protogenic Pokemon, legendaries and mythicals. Even so, I think I've deciphered the first of which. Far before the first man stepped foot on the world's surface, a mythical deity constructed a new world, a world parallel to our own. It was like ours, but it wasn't. It was twisted and deformed, the gravity flowed incorrectly. Nevertheless, this deity made use of the empty space and constructed a haven for the deceased to pass onto. Within this distorted world, far below the surface, 4 distinct locations were constructed. One for the heroes of the world, one for those who had committed the unthinkable, one for the people who had lived ordinary or equal lives, but the last had been forgotten. As the world had finally begun populating itself, this deity had realized a grave error. There was nothing to rule over these lost souls. With this in mind, it created 4 legendary Pokemon, governors for each respective subsection. For the Pits of Punishment, the prison for deceased wrongdoers, a large beast known as Migdara that invoked pure and primal fear into those under its dominion. In the Field of Triumph, Scalahad would now bask in glory alongside the truest of heroes. Lepidina reigned over the dreary meadows, its radiant beauty the only thing of colour in this dull land. Nothing has ever been documented about the other, however. The 3 known legendary Pokemon are referred to as the Parting Trio.
In concern to all the books legendaries, this is all the relevant region lore needed at this point in time. I'm thinking we might as well start introducing them now. But first, I'd like to preface that there are like 0 fucking bug type legendaries. The only actual one as of now is Genesect, but like, it's Genesect. Who the fuck gives a rat's ass about Genesect? With all that being said, this is Migdara, mascot for Pokemon Brains. It is an amalgamation of creepy crawlies, particularly centipedes, spiders, and scorpions. Once you got all that, you slap on a giant exposed brain, psychic powers, and then voila! Migdara looks over the evil souls that stay confined within the Pits of Punishment. With its psychic abilities, it forces immense fear into all captive, making them relive unspeakable tortures and traumas. It is unknown as to whether or not Migdara enjoys this, but as the role is its job, and it's giving dickheads their just desserts, it appears to pass by the dark typing requirement. Its name pulls from Migdal, Polish for amygdala, which is the part of the brain that registers fear, as well as Wara Wara, Japanese for creepy crawly. The mascot for Pokemon Brawn, on the other hand, is Galahad. The name originates from scarab beetles and Sir Galahad, the purest and most noble of King Arthur's court, as well as the only one to actually lay eyes on the Holy Grail. Galahad is a mixture of some of the biggest and strongest beetles on Earth, such as the Rhinoceros, Titan, and Goliath beetles. But what's more is that Galahad is fucking massively built and shredded. This Pokemon hit the gym and just didn't leave. Either that or it's hopped up on steroids because its muscles are monstrous. When it comes to its role governing the Fields of Triumph, however, Galahad needs not put much effort in. Being such a beastly Pokemon, it often gains instant respect by the new residents of the area. The great legendary Galahad would much rather bask in greatness alongside the heroes than rule like a tyrant, although it will put its foot down if need be. The last member of the parting trio is Leopardina. As governor over the Dreary Meadows and mascot for Pokemon Beauty, it fits that Leopardina is the only thing of vibrancy in the entire area. Leopardina is a combination of the most gorgeous and visually pleasing of bugs. It shows aspects of the Venezuelan poodle moth.
Look at it. It is so fucking fluffy.
Butterflies and the orchid bee. And in comparison to the other two, its body is not all that big, but it makes up for that with its giant wings. Leopardina's name derives from Lepidoptera, the order of butterflies and moths, as well as Diarmid O'Dina, an Irish demigod famous for his beauty, with a love spot that caused any woman who gazed upon it to fall in love.
Entry number LXX. I scrounged together another story, another old tale about mythical Pokemon. I think it's connected to the last. It's as follows. In the beginning, there was nothing, an empty chasm. But then, a single egg came into being. This egg hatched and gave birth to a great Pokemon that would build the universe. The eggshell, however, was left discarded. As the eggshell drifted in this empty abyss prior to the world's creation, a new being came to be. This very being would go on to forge a world parallel to our own, parallel to the one that its brother would make. This Pokemon has never been sighted. There is very little proof that it actually existed, but those who believe have been referring to it as Oblivoid.
Well, here she is, Oblivoid, embodiment of Oblivion, the Void, and brother of Arceus in ways, although the vast majority of people are oblivious to this fact. He is the quote-unquote pixie mythical of the region, like Mew or Celebi. Just as Arceus is special in that it can be any type, Oblivoid has no type. It is actually a type got unused that has no effectivenesses at all. In addition, Oblivoid is a creator of the Distortion World, whilst Arceus had forged the Overworld, although it much prefers dwelling in the overworld than the other. And now, on top of all this, I should probably mention that I absolutely detest new mythical Pokemon. Well, not the Pokemon exactly, I just hate how they are rewarded. I remember back in the good old days, when you had a fun time trying to catch the legendaries or mythicals. Now they're just kind of given to you. So, the way you obtain Oblivoid is by playing hide and seek with it. Across the entire region, there are a small handful of people that have a brief idea about Oblivoid. They may give you hints on its whereabouts, but once you find it, it's gonna string you along and hide again. I don't know. In the end, it could be anywhere. The forest, the desert, maybe even under some random chariot or truck or something.
Entry number LXXI. Alright, I've been through it all. It's all been put together. All of Professor Hawthorne's notes have been checked. For the most part, they've been pretty useless, but I have managed to stitch together one last story. Agnos was once barren. It was barely inhabitable when Gorea found itself on the mainland. Wandering through the region, this Pokemon only felt pity for the wasteland, but felt a great interest towards the mountains, though they were still barren. Gorea was quite the spectacle in its prime, you see, but it had decided to share this spectacularity with these mountains that it so very adored. One by one, Gorea had given these mountains unique features by stripping parts from itself. These mountains spread to create beautiful and unique locations. It was only until much later that Gorea regretted its decision. He was so much smaller and so much less. It now roams the land, switching from mountain to mountain, reminding itself of the great mistake that had created the agriculture of Agnos.
Gorea is the last legendary / mythical of the region. It was once a towering mountain of a Pokemon, but it gave everything that it had to the world around him, a choice that it so very much regrets. However, when visiting the mountains that he had given Spunk, he can take back what had been given, even for just a moment. This coincides with the way you obtain it. Goreya's special event is somewhat alike to that of the old legendary beasts. Goreya switches from mountain to mountain, and whilst you always know which one, it'll keep running away and changing to another. Goreya's name comes from giants, and Ourea, the Ourea being a group of primordial mountain gods, who also serve as the inspiration. Goreya isn't the only one of them to be inspired by primordial deities of Greek myth. All of them are. In the Hesiod Theogony, there are like 10 or 11 of these old gods. However, many pre-existing legendary Pokemon can already fill the roles of many of them. Those I felt didn't have a Pokemon that already well represented them were Chaos, the Ourea, and Tartarus. Chaos is the first being in existence. It is the nothingness, which is why I made Oblivoid parallel to Arceus, who is another created deity. As I had already said, Goreya is inspired by the Ourea, the primordial mountain gods. Our 3 box legendaries are all based off of Tartarus. Tartarus was both a primordial god and a place. The place was split into parts: the Fields of Punishment, the Asphodel Meadows, and the Elysium. Migdara is the Fields of Punishment, Lepidina is the Asphodel Meadows, and Scalahad is the Elysium. Now, as far as stats go, they're all quite well off, but they do excel in specific areas. Migdara excels in its special attack and special defense, and it has a signature move, Chains of Agony, which summons forth chains of psychic energy that unleashes pure hell onto all it touches. It requires an insane amount of energy to pull off, and so Migdara may need to rest afterwards. Scalahad is extremely strong in its physical attack and defense. Its signature move is Reminisce. When using this move, Scalahad relives its glory days, and is assured to deal critical damage on its next turn, as well as an attack buff. Lepidina is best in its speed and health. Lepidina will flap its massive wings when it uses its signature move, Spirit Spore, which will instantly put its target to sleep, as well as giving them the ghost-type curse effect, not the pussy shit that other types get when using it. These 3 box legendaries also share a new signature ability. It's called a Locust Plague. It works like Sandstream, but instead of a sandstorm, it summons an infestation for 4 to 5 turns. Now, Goreya has a high physical attack and special defense. Its signature move is Pinnacle Pummel, wherein Goreya will attack its opponent with a flurry of monstrous punches. So strong that it will leave the target vulnerable for later attacks. It also has a signature ability, Summit Spirit, that allows it to change forms/types when it's on a different mountain or holds a specific mound. Oblivoid has perfectly even stats across the board. Its signature move, Zilch. It's called Zilch. It does nothing, sorta. What it really does is negate everything that happened on the turn, and then locks the opponent into doing the exact same thing on the next. These are all the legendaries and mythicals of our generation, of Agnos. Which one is your favorite? Tell us what you think in the comments. I really appreciate all the support this series has gotten. Have a good one, fellas. Bye.